Hi everyone, Tony Kent here from my hotel room in Adelaide with another update and some suggestions about how you can help grow your business back in the US or in Australia. Here's my thoughts on how all this is going to work out. I think that most of you know that a huge amount of the home-based businesses that have MLM or network marketing, even direct sales, are mostly now out of the US. The figure that I've heard is 90%. So if Trivita is a $100 million company in the US, then I think we can assume it could easily be a billion-dollar business as it expands worldwide. If we have 3 million customers, 3 million customers is 10% of 30 million customers. So I would say that we could conservatively assume anyway that we'll have 10 to 20 million customers coming in the coming years as we expand into all these different countries. Now, for instance, the demographics in Australia that I've been taught and that I've heard since I got here is that about half the country of Australia come from another country. As you all know, we're going to be expanding out into Singapore and Malaysia, the Philippines, India, eventually all these different countries. And I believe that the biggest impact will be found by those people who learn to diversify into these other cultures. I know that in most people's sphere of influence, that it's just not that diversified. So that means that to really be successful and to dream into some big numbers here, then I would suggest that you start diversifying your sphere of influence, that you start reaching out to meet people in other cultures, that you start to understand other cultures so that you can build a business there. I believe that it takes a lot less energy actually to dream big than to dream small. I'm a big believer that this is a business of persistence and consistency and that you climb the mountain one step at a time. But I also believe that if you start thinking about it, in most MLM businesses, when you recruit somebody, it takes months before you can get up to figures like 100 and 200 people. Whereas if you can sponsor one person here that's willing to do the dash for director, all of a sudden you have 160 new people in your organization. So let's look at Australia for a minute. In order to be able to have access to customers in Australia, I believe that our business plan says that you have to have people in Australia buying bundles. Now, if somebody buys bundles, say, let's just say 100 customers in Australia, by the very demographics of this country, half of those people are going to come from another culture. Now, maybe only 1 in 100 wants to build the business, but if you think about it, it might be possible to ask some of these people, do you know some successful business people in your community that I could talk to as we're reaching out into the Philippines or Malaysia or India? So I think that the customers here can be a huge resource. I know that when I get my customers at home, I would not say that the demographic is anything like that unless you're specifically asking for people in certain zip code areas where you know that the population of that zip code is predominantly another culture, which is another idea for you, those of you back in America. You know that we can now order customers from specific regions. So I just wanted to put that out there and tell you this is what I'm doing, is I'm focusing a lot on looking at different cultures, different people from different places, so that as we expand out into these places, and if even half of our business is done in these countries, I think it can make a huge impact, and that we can thus start penetrating into some of these other cultures with our phenomenal wellness products, which certainly can help a lot of people. I know that there are, even within our own context in the U.S., there are many cultures that are suffering a lot from pain and inflammation that could definitely use B12. So I just wanted to widen your horizons a little bit, make you think about this, and as you speak to people, as you start placing ads, as you start to reach out, and just even if it's just to create an internal intention within yourself to attract people from different spheres of influence. Not only do I think you can increase in your wealth, but I think that you can increase in who you are, your personal growth, and you can become more and be more by knowing and understanding and appreciating these other cultures. So that's all. That's the tip for today. We are getting excited because the meeting's tonight, and then the training's tomorrow in Adelaide, and then we move on to Perth. So I'll be checking in with you again. Many thanks and many blessings.